character, Tom.
Yeah.
Put your character in
Yeah.
there.
Put your character. Dallas. Dallas.
Dallas.
Cindy's in a different movie.
We've signed enough of these.
Is that Gary's?
What's that? I think so. Is that yours, Gary?
Oh, it's not?
Oh, yeah.
For the clothing.
Well,
It looks good.
this sort of is just a
He
little
just got
scratchy.
all his
Yeah, those
brand new gear, and he knows that I'm on the board, and he's a filmmaker with me, and he was like, if I can do something to help pitch him,
Yeah, it looks kind of cool. And I think that would be great.
he's the type that would try to hear whatever you guys.
Look at this, Walter Hill. He had nothing to do with the original script.
It's a lie.
It is.
That's true.
It was Dan O'Bannon and Ron Shusett.
Dan O'Bannon.
Walter Hill had nothing to do with it
How did he get his name on there?
because he came up with the character name of Ripley, apparently.
Oh.
That's it?
Yeah,
Wow.
Dallas, sweetie.
Okay. Oh, Walter. Sticking
Keep
in his
going,
word.
keep going.
I don't know why Walter Hill seems to get, and David Guile, he was just,
And he's
he
been
was a
enjoying his
producer.
producer rights for 45 years. Yep.
Yes.
So do you want
Kicking
us
it
to
off
sign
nicely.
this
Was that his
Yeah,
first
that'd be
producer
great.
credit?
Yeah.
on
I
this
don't know.
page?
No, I don't think it was his first. I don't know if he produced
What do you
more
think,
or
Leslie?
something else.
I think it's put
Did
on
he
the cover.
direct
Question?
48
On the cover?
hours?
Why is
Yeah.
this
And Red Heat?
Oh, I
to be
guess this
forgotten?
is
Yeah.
the cover.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's so low.
It really is strange. Isn't
I
it?
don't know
Yeah.
why.
It's almost like an accidental floor. or
Yeah, it
something.
works for the short people. We don't mind. But the tall people, see, we've got a sign there. It says "Look out" on this beam right up here.
There goes the-
That's all.
This
yeah,
script.
that's all neat.
that Walter didn't write. We could cross his name's
Put a
billing.
note on the script.
want me
Veronica
to-
says
As
Walter
per-
did not write this.
Yeah, cross it out.
Right, that's perfect.
Cross it out.
The real story is coming out right here.
Dallas, babe.
Dallas
And that
forever.
was genuinely the last one. to
Yes.
sign.
That's all right. Is there? And I think Gary might have a little special something. So Gary's on the board here
Yes.
with us, and he has something that might be kind of
Oh, the hat's like
So you guys remember? Oh, you like the hat?
that.
You guys remember that the Topps trading cards came out for Alien? And I just wanted you guys to open them, if we could film it, so you guys can see what it was that was released around your film.
Oh, all right.
yeah. Wait for
This
Field.
is from 1979.
Yes, those Topps cards are from 1979, so please don't eat the gum.
Oh. Are you sure you want us to open this?
Yes, I think that the memory of having it is better than it sitting on my shelf.
Oh, look at you, Tom, right
Look,
up front.
oh my gosh,
Whoa.
right there.
Hey, I didn't show you this stuff.
Oh,
Oh, look at that.
That's darling.
I've never worn it.
Well, I never got one.
were you wearing that at lunch? And I
You
just
couldn't
didn't see that.
You want to do
I
it?
am very petulant.
Yeah.
We never got anything. Remember, Harry Dean wanted to give us hats, and then they were so stingy they wouldn't go in half of them.
They wouldn't give you hats?
No,
Nothing.
no. I threw the wrap
Tom,
party.
do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Here we are,
and,
walking down the. It's walking
Down
on
to
that
the
sand.
egg. Yeah.
oh, the one of them was my son.
The Academy Award nominated art director for Alien. I'm the one that Ridley had put together the entire interior of the Nostromo to make it look like an old used space truck. I really wish I could be there. I love seeing Alien on the big screen. Veronica and Tom, you can blame me. I'm the one that put the offal in the chest burster, not the blood. But I went to the abattoir and we got a lot of offal to make it look very real. And you all remember that scene, we all do. It was now one of the most iconic scenes in cinema, so you can be proud to be part of that. I just remember it was such a great shoot. You probably were all coughing like we all were afterwards, because Ridley uses smoke in every set, every movie he did then. It's called incense, and we had bee puffers, which are like little buffers that you put smoke in the beehives. Fortunately, it didn't work on us. We didn't go to sleep, but it was such a good experience and such a great cast of actors who just looked so real. And I tried with the set to make it an environment that they didn't have to question this was real. Those seats inside the cockpit, you'll remember that we moved backwards and forwards. Little lights went on when you press switches. It gave a kind of claustrophobic nightmare to the vision of Alien that helped audiences connect to it for the first time. And it was not only just the reality of the characters, because you were so strong in it, and there isn't a moment in that film you don't believe every single minute of it. It works today, which is a testament to the iconic nature of the entire film. It's just as scary today. It's just as gripping as soon as you start watching that film. And it stands out. You can both be proud with everybody of how, with a pretty small budget for a science fiction movie, we created such a strong, powerful, entertaining movie that was set in an alien ship. I like it to the Mary Celeste. There was a ship abandoned in space, but in this one there was a crew of characters who had to go through extraordinary kind of journey. So there we are. I'm sorry I can't be there. I wish I could. I'm working, and Veronica and Tom, my best wishes to you both.
And the Tom
Well, what the hell?
We're still waiting for Veronica to come, but Tom, I have to ask, how long has it been since you've seen the film? Oh, here comes Veronica. Tom and Veronica, it is amazing to have you here as our special guests, not only to come and talk with us about your film, but to come out here and support us in independent cinema as well. It's really special, special for all of us. I know our audience will have questions for you too, but I'd like to start off with a few questions to get us started. Alien is, of course, now an iconic film. It's a classic of sci-fi horror. Its status as a classic wasn't necessarily something that I think anyone knew was going to happen, though, or anyone could have predicted. So I'm curious, could you tell us a little bit about how you initially became involved in the project of Alien? Did you read the script and know it was something you wanted to do, or were you familiar with Ridley Scott, who only made one feature film? Tell us a little bit about how you came to the project. Veronica, can you start with me, perhaps?
Well, I read this. Is this on? Yeah.
Just hold it close to your
I read the script. I went on an interview in California and auditioned for the part of Lee. And then I didn't hear anything, but I was planning on going to England. And so I called my agent and I said, would you please find out if that part has been cast? Because I would go on an interview there, which I did, and Ridley was there. Again, I read for Ridley. And then I sort of got a call saying, you know, you're part of the cast, and I went over to England, and the costume department called me and said, you need to come in so that we can fit you for Lambert. And I said, no, I'm Ripley. And she said, no, no, you're not, you're Lambert. So I called the producers. I said, well, I haven't read this, anywhere near to what she is like. Lambert, I said, she seems like she cries a lot. And so I said, I'm going to have to reread it and see if there's anything I can make of this character. So I ended up doing it. I ended up playing Lambert, who I guess is really the voice of the audience. And she's smart. She was saying, let's get off of this shit. Nobody listens to me. I mean, maybe I'm a little weepy, but... So that is how I got involved. And I didn't know that it was going to be this. It was originally just sort of like a B movie with really great actors. And Ridley had done one other movie, The Duelist, which I had seen, which was really, really interesting and quiet. There was this weird quiet about it. So I had no idea that it was going to end up being what it is. When we did start shooting, they sunk in more, like $11 million more. I mean, this movie was done for like $18 million. So you just can't do that these days. And everything was practical. All those sets, we just took over Shepperton Studios, and like the Space Jockey was one set, and the desert was another set, and our corridors, as you can see, all led. I mean, you started in the engine room, and then you just sort of had to walk all the way through to get what part of the dining room or the hospital. I mean, it was very claustrophobic, and I think that was probably what Ridley wanted. That it gave you that sense of, danger, because he explained to us that we were truckers in space, and we were just that's where we were. Hi, Tom.
That's sweet.
Oh, you got one.
Mine's $5.
$5? Oh, mine's free.
Well, excuse me, if you don't mind. There we go. What did you want me to sing again?
How did you come to be on the
I
film?
know.
Yeah.
I'm trying that. That's just all I did. How'd you like to play? That's where we're at about all this. This is a long, long time, 40 years ago since I've seen the film. I have my own story about all of that. Several films, actually, that are just wonderful stories. That one, I had finished a film somewhere in Minneapolis, Mississippi. And on the bed is a script sent to me. I came back after some work, and there's a script, and I read it. It says Alien. Okay. And it says that you have an offer. I said, okay. And that was about it. And then I got a call from the producer, the same guy, a few days later. And he says, I know you have some doubt. There's a $2 million budget on this thing, and that's all we know right now, and we're looking for a director. And then he calls the next day and says, so we have this guy who is a creative designer for film, who wants to do a second film, and you might like to work with this guy. And I have then I had to look back at the script. I said, I'm thinking, and I didn't say it, is this that guy who was the worst director in the world? Yeah, that guy. I said, he had made it's just a spaceship in the air. That's how it was going. That was the conversation. This is this guy who's like this, Ed. And he said, you hang a little things on a string, and rocket, he would shoot, and he loved doing that stuff. And I'm thinking, really? Where's the bathroom? I just could not take it seriously. And then he tells me, oh, all right, here's the thing. What we do is have a screening room like this and show the film. I'm sorry, I just had peanuts, so I might be shooting. Where to dunk? Yeah. He says, just see the movie. So I saw the movie, and within 5 minutes, I said, yes,
Was that The Duelist?
it was it was the Duelist. It was the Duelist who saw it. Really did. You know, which was just a beautiful painting. Every frame was just gorgeous. You gotta work with a guy like this. So I don't know, the first thing that came to my head when he did that, and when I saw that movie, and said, hell yes, I'd take a nickel to do that. Even with this guy who...
And we all did.
And all I could do at the time was say, well, outside of that, Mrs. Lincoln, how'd you like the play? You know, I just love that. That's sort of, if you don't know what to say that.
It always works. I'm curious about, well, we'll just say the dinner scene, the chest burster scene, is now one of the most iconic scenes in cinema history. And you probably knew this question was coming. I'm sure you've had it a million times. There's been a lot of urban myths about this scene, about how much the crew knew or didn't know going into this scene. But could you tell us what it was like shooting that scene and what you did know going into it?
Well, we read the script, and it was in the script, so we knew something was going to happen. But we were put up into our dressing rooms for hours, like 4 or 5 hours. We kept thinking, what is going on? And Harry Dean's sitting in the hall playing his guitar, and we're all sort of wandering around wondering what's going on. So when they did finally call us, we went down, and the whole set was in plastic. And there were 4 cameras and big buckets of offal. I mean, as I walked in through this plastic door, I mean, I gagged. It was hideous. It was like soaking in formaldehyde. It was quite disgusting. Anyway, so we never rehearsed. We just sort of, here was John in the bodysuit, and so it just was so spontaneous. And before it burst out, Ridley shouted, "Cut!" And of course we all went, "Oh God, what's going on now?" And he recut the chest so that, with a, like a little X-Acto knife, so the thing could come out better. Of course, I was totally wound up by this point, and I leaned directly into a blood jet. And I had no idea there was even going to be any blood. And oh my God, so that reaction, oh my God, was what happened. And then I proceeded to back up, and my knees hit the banquette, and I flipped upside down, and there were 2 cowboy boots sticking up. And I thought, oh my God, they're still shooting. So I rolled over and I ran back in. I mean, it's interesting watching it because I wasn't there for quite a few shots. So they actually showed us the rushes that day because it was hysterical, like a Max Sennett movie. Da da da, gone. I mean, Jesus. But no, I had no idea there were going to be blood jets, and so I got it square on. And everything you see in this was all a one-off. I mean, we only did it once.
I was just going to ask, it was only one take.
One take. And that was it. That's why they had all the cameras so that they could get us. And what did you feel, Tom?
That scene. I was following Ridley, whatever he was doing, to learn. Because I'm more interested in being a writer and director, but okay. Anyway, I'm watching all of this. And he dressed off, Ridley or something else. And he's operating the camera, by the way, the whole thing. And so he's sizing it all up, and He starts going, oh, yeah, hey guys, bring it in here. Bring it in here. I'm like, was more the way he spoke. And he brings in these pails, these buckets of bricks, so liquid. And some other guy brings in some slabs of beef and cut up all freshly done that morning. And
And stuffed John.
I realized he's crazy.
And stuffed John with all of that.
That was freshly
John,
killed.
Mary's no place he could go.
For her. The poor cow just went just for her. And all I could do is just like, fine, I was halfway through the movie, I think, shooting of it. And I just howled when you fell on your butt because you were real. You were real through the whole film. It was terrifying for you, and you were terrified also.
I was terrified a lot.
Yeah.
There's a great thing I saw on the internet of Balaji, and he was talking about making that scene.
Balaji is the person who played the alien.
Yeah, he's the person who played the alien, who was part of the Maasai tribe, and he was like 7 foot tall. So they built that suit around him. And so he was talking about the making of that scene, because they had sent him off to like Tai Chi and mime classes. He could roll himself in a ball and just slowly stand up. And then you just stand there and you go, oh God, what's happening? And then you go, and, oh my gosh, I didn't have to act. I just looked at him. And it was unbelievable. And Balaji says on the thing, I don't know, she was terrified. I'm so sorry. And I was. I mean, he was fabulous. He was fabulous. And I was just in the moment. I mean, it took us 5 days to shoot that scene. And
talking about your death scene?
But I didn't really die. They never shot my death scene. I was supposed to crawl into one of the lockers that's there, and like the cat when he was hiding, and then the alien was supposed to come and pull me out. So I kept saying, when are we going to shoot the end of the scene? And they said, oh, don't worry about it, later. And about a week later or so, all of a sudden they have this meat hook hanging there, and they put me into a jock strap and hung me on this meat hook. Oh, pull your leg up. Let's just have your leg hanging down. I said, this is cruel. I mean, so I don't know what happened to me, but as somebody said, what was it like having that tail go up underneath your legs? I said, I don't know. Why didn't you ask Harry Dean? I mean, they're Harry Dean's legs. I'm wearing sneakers, and they faded out his costume, which was blue to be white. So, I was pissed. I was really, really angry. But, hey, I guess it works in the movie, and nobody knows that. But next time you see it, look for those sneakers.
I think, Tom, your scene is similar in that we don't actually see Captain Dallas's death. It's off screen and presumed. And I understand there was an extra scene that was shot where we see what happens to Captain Dallas that was not included in the original film. Could you talk about that scene a little bit?
Yes, I could. In fact, I will. We talked about that. I said, this doesn't really need to be in the film because the cat, as we knew it, was going to be involved somehow or another. And I thought, we have to get out. We know things are happening right now. We can't have her stop and go and say, oh, by the way, to the captain of the ship, and I'm stuck on a wall, like one of those lights there, just stuck, hammered there with this goo, and I'm with my head sticking out, and I'm thinking, I don't have time for lunch, guys. She and I both agreed that it's just, and really did too, he felt the pace of the thing. Once you begin a wheel going on a bicycle, you have to pay attention where it's going to go. And if it's necessary, get off the damn thing and buy the bread in the grocery store and walk home if you can't really deal with it. But make assessments. We did.
Yeah, but I must say, when that day that we were up in that wall, Sigourney had been sent off so that she could learn how to use a flamethrower. And so she's coming through with that flamethrower, and there was a big sheet of glass between Tom and her, and then Ridley shouted, "Shoot the gun." Well, the special effects guy jumps up and he goes, "Cut! Cut!" And he's like frantic, because if she had pulled that trigger, that flame, which went 24 feet, would have hit that glass and gone back and killed her and killed the crew. Well, Ridley was so furious he fired the special effects department. But they were back 2 days later. And then they gave Sigourney a special effects award for being so brave. But it was awful. But I think it's in the director's cut. I do believe in the director's cut you are seen up in the wall, but it doesn't you just seen.
No, they never left it in. It was cut out.
But in the director's cut, I think it's back in.
You might be right.
I think it is. But there was the dialogue just kill me. You wanted for her to flow the flamethrower and kill you. And then, I don't know, there was some argument about that. That would make Sigourney look cruel or something. Well, there you are in a fucking wall. Also in the director's cut, they cut my scene. I mean, it's back in the director's cut. When the thing is, we're arguing to get back on the ship, and I go over, and after Ash has opened up the room, and when we walk in, I slap Sigourney across the face. Yeah, and that gave me some balls. But that was nice.
It's the best scene.
You can find it on YouTube. Yeah.
And it was so weird too, because she kept ducking it. So every time I went to hit her, she would duck it, and my direction was, get her this time. So I said, okay. And so when I went like this, and then I backhanded her. I got her.
Yes,
But she was not a happy camper. She didn't finish the scene, but boom, tears in her eyes. So.
I guess this is where that line is. This is what I should have said earlier. Outside of that, Mrs. Lincoln, how'd you like the play?
Perfect. Well, I think I want to throw it to the audience now to get a few questions. So if you could state your question briefly, so we can make sure we get to a bunch of people, and then I'll restate it so everyone can hear. Yes, in the front. Just say it loud and hard.
Okay. So one of the big themes of Alien, the entire series, is corporations being willing to sacrifice their workers for little to no actual gain. I feel like Ripley's rage at that revelation is very, very relevant. And I was wondering if you have thoughts about that being part of why the series has remained so relevant for so many decades.
So the question
Wow,
is
that's
about
heavy.
the company and the corporation that is basically kind of causing the
I
deaths
didn't
in the
really
film.
think of it that way.
I didn't
But neither one of us thought of it that way, but it's very interesting. It's an interesting concept.
It does seem really relevant, I think, yeah. I think there was one question, yeah, right here in front.
Hi, I am a teacher out here in Bellingham, and I teach high schoolers. And there are a lot of kids there who want to be actors and writers and filmmakers. Just based on your experience with Alien and other movies, what advice or suggestions would you have for my students?
He didn't want to be an actor. I didn't either. I was too shy to be an actor, but I thought that would be a good, for me to write, which is what I was interested in doing. I should go out and do that, because this stuff is not something you can analyze and talk about art or anything else. You can't look at the greatest painting ever, Mona Lisa. I'm an old guy who forgets his own name. Mona Lisa. You look at that, you see more people looking at that than anything else in the world. And I looked at that, and I realized it's beautiful. He's an extraordinary man. And, I mean, he did everything in the world you could imagine doing. And he painted that as the best thing he ever done. Now, he didn't judge it that way, but I'm going around circling a little bit with this because I really want to know, I wanted for a long time to know what it is to be creative. You cannot analyze this, folks. You just have to feel Mona Lisa. You want to look at there and say, gee, why is she turning like that? Well, that's one of the reasons. No painting had ever been given her that little bit of turn. And her left cheek lip went up just a little bit. Nobody had ever done that. It's the small stuff that don't try to overanalyze any of the creative process. Do it in thunder if you may, because all you have left is what to learn from it. That's what I've learned about this whole thing, about acting, about writing, because I'm primarily a writer and director who was busy raising his children, so the money was coming in the acting area, and that's my story. And what I want to emphasize is that anybody who wants to get into the creative venue of any sort, don't. Just because you want to do it, don't. You have to fall into it like I did. I was being a great football player before that, and then UCLA, and I'm looking at this, and I'm going on a bit. But I think about this a lot because I was trying to write a memoir, and I remember going into the film class at UCLA, and I'm watching this film called Citizen Kane. If you have not seen that, you must. And don't analyze it. You just feel the damn thing. All of this whole thing I've had in my life are the things I've felt and been able to utilize, good or bad. I don't know why I'm going on like this, but I really feel I've been there, I've done that. I put this thing in the iron and the fire and picked it out with the wrong hand. I've done all of this. And this is all what you live through and is what you take out and give to other people. That's what you want to tell the students. What you do the best for not just you, for what you might really get to if you try to be an actor. One, this is not an era to want to be a Hollywood actor. We have no Hollywood. We have an Amazon, and we have Netflix, and we have independent filmmakers. Like we have the ability to do it right here in this town, by the way. What I'm trying to do, and what I'm trying to say to you is that never mind the movie. We've seen the movie, and I already hand out the Milky Ways for everybody to eat. But this whole thing that's going on now is we got a lot to deal with here. And this is more than just us coming in and talking about one movie, which is a splendid movie, and I've been in a few of them. Both of us have been in, quite a tale behind us. So this is really, all I can do is, I don't have a chance, I don't usually want to go out and just have speeches, but damn it, I've got a lot to say, and I'm going to cut it off. But this is about more than being a movie star. It's more than going to the movie. It's coming here and enjoying something that none of us anticipated this movie to be so
iconic.
Yes, iconic. And I mean, there was fire burning throughout that whole thing, and nobody was putting it out. You better go out.
If you get a chance for your kids to see Sing Sing, which is a new movie that's out. It's about prisoners, and they start an acting class, and the young man who Coleman Domingo actually is playing is the person that he is opposite. And this young man who just didn't want to be any part of this acting thing, I mean, he does the best Hamlet I've ever seen. It's just unbelievable. All of a sudden, he knows what the words mean. And it's a really interesting film, I think, that your students would like to see, as far as you have to sort of live the moment. And, you can't pretend, like, go out for the goals, do the plays, do the things so that you are constantly working in it, and hopefully you're spotted and seen. But I mean, I just thought, because I know most of your students are Native Americans, and so Sing Sing would be an interesting movie, I think, to see if you can get it.
Is that local?
Yeah, Lummi Nation.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wow, I would love. Do you have a card?
Not yet.
If you're working in play, or would be working with them, whatever it may be. I live in Seattle now as an escape from the fire in Los Angeles. Not that I was there, but it finally showed up. But I really would like to be able to help the Lummies, because I've been in touch with them often, not able to deal with them. But I mean, I've had two things and they had things to do.
Yeah.
And they are important to have. It's very important to give them what we have to offer. Not as white people, white men, first liver here, first human. You know what I'm saying. And I'm going on a little bit. So there are things to do that are not over yet, and we're in a situation where we're trying to do everything that we can possibly say beyond and with and for, having done what we've done as a writer, as a director, as a painter, and by the way, being lucky to be in some wonderful film like this and a few others. We both have had this experience. We both go together to these, pay a photo thing, and people pay a lot of money for that. And, but it's just a matter of, people say something like movie star, and I go nuts. I'm an actor. That's all I am, and I'm a writer. And I happen to be damn good, and that's it. Ego does not count. It is what we build on. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's every mistake, every good thing. It all is who we are and what we give to all of us right now. I'm spanking you all. Believe in yourself. Just one little thing I'd like to add. I've got a very dear friend over the last 20 years. He's been knocking on our door. He comes down to Seattle and knocked on the door, and he's something else. Knocks on the door, and he says, my name's Andrew or Andy, and I apologize. He's very much of a gentleman, knows what he's doing, and I'm not thinking right off the bat. I'm thinking, should I let this guy in, because I don't know who he is. He just knocks on the door and he says, I know who you are, but please excuse me. 20 years now, and he's come to a point where he's one hell of a filmmaker without really being known about. And we're going to make this happen somehow. Now that we have a film that we can make for 3 or 4 million, 5 if we can, we have to limit. When you write a screenplay, do not write it for the money. You write it for the other way around, and the money will be there. So that's my saying to Andrew.
And here's Andy right there.
Oh, here's Andy over here.
He's my coat hanger.
He's so good. This guy I trust him. This is the guy I trust around here, and you want to have anything to do with the movie. Andy, would you mind coming on just saying a few words? Oh, no. Would you prefer not to? Andrew Rahman. He made this event happen because he just knew it has to. And don't lose that name. If you're not going to talk and just say a few things, I guess I probably embarrassed you, and I'm sorry. But I'm not really sorry because you're something else. And I love this city, and I'm hoping somehow, someday, that I can get up here. I've been wanting to move up here for a long time.
Bellingham's great! Should we get another question from the audience? Yes.
I thought I answered them all.
Hi. I have a pretty fun one. Jonesy the cat. I'm just wondering what's your guys' favorite memories with the cat?
Favorite memories with Jonesy the cat.
He never was with the cat. So,
Movie magic.
He was orange.
Yeah, my name is Tim. I'm also an educator. Thanks for coming up here to Bellingham. One of you mentioned that Sigourney Weaver went through flamethrower training. Sounds intriguing. Did any of you go through any kind of training to prepare for Alien?
Yes, to the office.
No, I mean, just other than just trying to make the character as real as possible. But we didn't have any of that physical stuff. They did have a choreographer when we were beating the robot up. That was pretty intense, wasn't it? Like flailing around. Ian was a method actor.
Oh, God. He was beautiful.
He was lovely.
One more?
Thank you.
So the suit for Alien is pretty iconic, and the artist that created him, H.R. Geiger, is also there. Do you guys have any experience, or what was your experience working with Hans Rudy Geiger?
Well, he was there, and he was always dressed in black. Black cape with sort of and purple lining. Wasn't it purple or was it red? I thought,
bloody red.
Well, he had a cape?
Oh, yes, and he was so theatrical. But the first time that we came onto the set, and there he was directing the wardrobe people to. Poor Balaji was there with the bottom half of his suit on, and that's when we first saw that going on. But no, he used to hang out, and his wife would come down. She dressed the same way every once in a while. They were strange people. But they created a brilliant monster.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't know. Did you get the lithos? They gave us lithos when we left. I had this set of lithographs. What am I going to do? Hang those on my wall? Here's a vagina. I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I showed them to several people, but I put it under my bed. And then I ended up selling them. I know it's terrible, but I did an auction, and I got $9,000 for them. I mean, what was I going to do with them? I was never going to use them.
Talk about it. You're talking about it. You wouldn't have that to be able to talk about it.
That's true. But Giga was very nice, and he would just sort of float around.
Nice. Thank you.
He was lovely. Strange, but strange. I mean, you wondered what his house was like.
Oh, it's weird.
Yeah, is it weird?
Well, you got that from his actual paintings, which is what got the go. They went there and down in Rome or some place in Italy at a museum, and he had that was his art that we see in the movie.
I know, it's unbelievable.
Stuff in the shades, the shadows.
And all the caves, and everything was massive, just massive. So, I mean, he was quite brilliant in his design, and it works especially well for the movie. But nothing I would want to live with.
I think we have about 5 minutes left. Maybe a question from the back. Yeah, center in the back. You, yes.
What young filmmakers are you really excited to see what they do next?
Young filmmakers that you're excited to see.
Which filmmakers?
Independent filmmakers that we're excited to see. Huh.
I'll give him a call.
Andy.
This family has a big embraces a big hand before we leave.
Your experience with Harry Dean Stanton.
Harry Dean, he was just very mellow. Smoked a lot of dope.
Yeah.
And would just play his guitar and hang out. And then come down to the set and just be like, okay, what are we doing today? He was just like Mr. Mellow. He was great. He was lovely. But I ran into him several years later at a bar up at Beverly Glen. And he was sitting there, and I sat down next to him and I go, hi, Harry. Do you remember me? He just sort of looked at me. I said, I'm Veronica. I was in that movie Alien with you. Oh, yeah. Okay. Such enthusiasm. I don't know if he remembered any of it or not.
Sigourney would ride in a car. Sigourney would ride in a car. Sigourney's an interesting name, by the way. It had to do with cigars. Stoner was in the front, on the back seat, smoking and making out. She was always just furious that he was going every day. Around England, a guy's driving on the wrong side and the wrong side of the car, driving it on the wrong side of the car, and he's out there. He doesn't say a thing, but boy, Sigourney just lit up when he said, get him out of here all the time. Anyway, that's that. That's a period.
And you know who was lovely was Yaphet.
Yes.
My buddy. I loved him. He was just great. We'd do a lot of lunches together and we would just talk, and he was just a sweetheart. So.
Well, there's a quick one. I pay attention to a lot of the funny stuff going on in any movie I've been in on the outside of it. So you want to talk about the movies, you're going to talk about the jokes more than the movies, because you just do them and you have to move on to something else. And I remember coming out late just for lunch, and I was going to work that afternoon, get out of the car, and there's Yaphet and the script, the person who does the uniform, whatever, costume person, lovely lady, about 5 feet tall. And out they come talking very seriously, and I thought, if I had an iPhone, well, I didn't, but I just watched it all. He's 7 feet, and he's still got all this stuff on. He's taking the head off, and he's got very bright blue tennis shoes with pink shoelace. And I just thought, I gotta watch them. So I followed them going out to lunch, and they're talking deeply about the British and finance guy. Now, isn't that a classic? I just thought, this is wonderful. If I could just record all of this, I would be the wealthiest.
But also that you told us that story of where he was warming up for a scene, and he's getting ready for a scene where he has to burst in.
Yeah.
And then the two costumers or electricians or whatever were standing there, and they go, isn't it wonderful to be British?
My God, it was the way he was going about it. He was doing the way that the studio did in New York, where they just have screaming, do it all, get it out of here, that kind of thing. And he's doing all that.
Freddie Forrest used to do that.
Yeah, boop, all that. He was just going on that, and he looks at the two gentlemen over there, where they both have their hands on their back, as usually. And I'm standing in back of the two of these guys, and he looks at those two guys and he says, what's wrong with you guys? You put the hands on your ass and you just stand there looking like you know something. Get out! And he really gets very insulting with him. He turns around, says thanks, and goes back in and starts to see. That's method acting, which I could never understand. It just we did that.
All right.
Yes.
I think we should probably wrap up. I know some people would love to talk to you out in the lobby, but Tom and Veronica, thank you so much for coming.